Let's now talk about the game over the weekend at LAFC. This is a hard place to play. And it's a hard place to play this season, especially because of the form that LAFC has had at home. They have not been beaten at BMO Stadium. And it is loud, right? How loud is it?
Boggles your mind a little bit.
Yeah.
It's one of those places. It's a proper environment there at BMO Stadium. And, for me at least, I don't play or have no skin in the game, if you will, in terms of what the on-field result is. But for me, even I had the nerves kind of coming into this game. Again, we talked about how this had sort of a big game playoff vibe to it. And in terms of the atmosphere that was there, in terms of the form that both teams were in, yeah, it was an important game. Again, the result didn't go our way, losing 3-0. But I think if you just look at the result, I think it doesn't tell the full story of kind of how the Rapids kind of managed the game. At one point, that Kevin Cabral, he gets the second yellow, he's sent off. The Rapids are down to 10 men. But even then, I mean, that's, I would say surprised me, but I think still left an impression on me in terms of, we know that this team has this strong mentality and just they're willing to get after the game. They continue to do that after going down to 10 men. Whereas you would think most teams would just sit back, minimize the damage, and just leave it at that. No, guys, there's quick interplay on the sidelines. Omer is dribbling at guys and trying to look for a cross, and guys are still trying to look for a goal. Obviously, the game didn't go the way we wanted to, but for me, that just left a really strong impression on me, despite knowing how this team is, really left an impression on me in terms of what the mentality is of this team. And learning lesson. We've talked about the fact that this team is going to have some learning lessons along the way. This is one of them. But you take it on the chin and you move forward, which the 3-0 isn't ideal, but I'm not worried about this team at all. That's my feeling, at least coming out of it.
Maybe some people take it with gin, but most people take it on the chin. I liked that. I thought the first 45 minutes was really entertaining. It felt like a big game. It felt like two of the top teams in the league battling in the ebb and the flow. What was your takeaway through maybe just when the game changed, the second goal, or when Cabral gets sent off with the second yellow card?
Those are both game-changing moments. But I agree. The first half, I thought for the first half of the first half, LAFC were maybe slightly the better team, although just because of some of the chances that they were able to create and stuff, and then they get the goal. But after that, after they scored the goal, it was the complete opposite. The Rapids not only had the better of the play, but they had them pinned in. They had 7 straight corners at one point. They had a couple free kicks, and it was because of the high pressure, the front-footedness, we're not going to let you out. We're going to suffocate you. We're going to attack when we don't have the ball. And it was great to see, to be able to do that against a team that is so in form as they are in LAFC. And I love the fact that the Rapids went there, and Chris Armas, one of the things was teams go there and they try to play different. They're not who they are. They change themselves too much because of who LAFC has and who they are. And the Rapids didn't do that. They went in there and were exactly who they are. And I thought it was a good litmus test for where are we right now at the end of June. Okay, maybe we're not quite where we want to be, but we're in a pretty good spot considering we feel like we have more to give. Yeah. And, the red card changes the game. It does. And really the second goal as well. But a good, kind of gauge of where we are. And there's going to be some hunger and some determination coming from this result. Going to a tough place, lose 3-0, being who you are. You have a lot of home games coming up here. But that might be a place that you have to go to in the playoffs. And this was a good kind of gauge for where we need to get to.
Because there was good moments and there were difficult moments. It felt like one of the biggest things that just in watching the game in general, it felt like LAFC does such a good job at home to be like, no matter if we're in possession, out of possession, we got the tempo. It is on us. We're going to dictate how the game gets played. And so it was very we're going at you at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Then you score a goal and they're like, okay, we can also play counterattack and we can sit back and go after it. But the nice thing I think for the Rapids is they have this mentality that if they go down a goal, they don't feel intimidated. They don't feel like they can't get back in a game. And I thought at the end of the first half, they had probably too many opportunities. That's the difference between a first team in the West and the fourth team in the West. It really is just taking your opportunity. It's the hardest thing to do in this game, but you have to be confident knowing we created against a very good defensive team and at their home. That gives you confidence in case that may come back up in the playoffs.
It does, and it wasn't just chance. It wasn't like LAFC were playing poorly during that spell or whatever. No, it was because the Rapids were taking the game to them.
Yeah, and it was back and forth. It was a very enjoyable game. I think, of course, the red card changes things, and you just think of what could have been with some of the tweaks that Armis had played the week before and bringing Ollie in and pushing Cole up a little bit and how he utilized those spaces. But there's some lessons learned.